What's happening, everyone? Have a guess who's back. Oh, it's the return of the KE. So after selling my Volkswagen Polo, I took in a part exchange for a Ford KE for £500. This was the very first time I've ever taken a part exchange, so taking a bit of a risk. So it was a bit ropey around the edges, the rear light was a bit misted up, the car was filthy and it was a bit worn and tired. I needed a bit of updating and grading. So we managed to get a few parts to start work. First of all, it was that rear light needed to be replaced, and we put in a second-hand new one. The rear wiper wasn't working, so we replaced the motor on that and got that working correctly. The KA was suffering from a major water leak, so we needed to find out where that was coming from and sort it out. Also, the aircon rad didn't work. We replaced everything, including a thermostat, and filled it up with fresh coolant. So the MOT had nearly expired on the KA, so we needed to replace a few bits to get it through another one and past. The lower arms needed to be replaced, the front discs and pads needed to be replaced, and just general maintenance and tidying up. We needed this car to look its absolute best, so I started work on the interior, trying to get it to look as best I could. The Karcher Padsy made short work of the interior. After all, this car was just used for commuting back and forth to work, was desperately needing a clean, and it hasn't been touched in a long time. Just giving it a wash made a massive difference. After all, I wasn't asking for loads of money for this car, but it still needed to look presentable and the best it possibly could. So the KA just needed a few little finishing touches, polishing up the paintwork and making it look as presentable as possible, ready for his pictures to put up for sale. The car looked well good and I was well chuffed about the way it turned out. So I listed the car for 1,800 and I did sell it eventually. I will reveal how much I sold it for in the next video when we move on to the next project. So now you're up to date with everything I've done in a previous episode. Let's carry on with today's and find out the reason why the car is back. This was sold to a young girl and who just passed a test and things. I needed a run around. So the father-in-law has brought it back because it's got water coming inside the car. So I don't know where from, but she said it's in the boot and in the rear, and I think it's in the front. So we've got an issue with the water leak somewhere that's penetrated inside the car. Nothing major. The only trouble is trying to find something like that is a bit of a nightmare, but I'm sure we can sort it. In a previous video I've had these rear lights off, so I'll be sealing around the ceiling them lights because I think it might be that's running into the boot. A Fiesta's got vents that normally fail behind the bumper. On the KE it hasn't got them. I think it's got one just in the centre there, and I think the water will struggle to penetrate in there as much. So I don't think that's the issue. I think it's the lights on this particular model. So behind them lights, there's rubber where the wire goes through inside into the car. I think it might be them on the back. And on the front, if it's coming in through the driver's side front as well, it might be under the scuttle panel. Underneath here, there's drains, and sometimes they become blocked, which can cause the water to sit in the scuttle and down in behind the driver's seat and passenger seat normally. So that is the issue with the car. I'm going to just crack on with it. There's no messing because this I'm on a time frame. She brought it here for 10 o'clock. I've got to look at it, get it sorted and hopefully fix the issue. Plus it's got a little rattle coming from the engine bay, which I think I know what that is. It's just the air pipe flapping around, so I said I'll have a look at that for her as well, and then hopefully it'll be gone for good. To be fair though, I didn't have to take it. I don't want to give myself a bad name or anything like that, so that's why I've agreed to it. It's because I want to, obviously I want to sell cars. I don't want them coming back. But if it is a problem, I don't mind, because ultimately, you go on reputation, and I want a good reputation. If I want to continue doing this further on, I need to make sure that I have a good name to make sure cars that go out okay. The only trouble is with cars like this is the age. When you get to this sort of age, you're going to have problems, and they're not showroom cars, and people have got to understand when buying a car that it is second hand and it is an old car, so you're going to have issues that they have to sort out themselves and pay, because I'm not going to probably get paid for this at all, so it's wasting my Saturday morning doing this when I need to sort out my garage, because there's a bit of a nightmare in there as well. Well, this is what I'm left to deal with. They've obviously had an issue because they put the mat in the bag, and to be fair, that is quite wet. She's obviously put cloth down. How bad is it in here? Yeah, you can see it running down there. See that there? That looks like it's been like that for a long time. There's a gap there, look. When it's running down, I think. So let's take this light off a second, because it's definitely running down from there, down there, behind there, and then running into that rubber and down. Now I could be wrong, but I think water could be running down into this and behind this seal. I just don't know, I'm touching the straws here really, because when you look at this, it's that high there. When you pull this up, yeah, look at that. See that? That's behind there. So that tells me water's running in higher up, running down, and possibly running down the inside of this, catching on the back of this, yeah, which is wet here, then running down there. So I think this seal is the culprit on this. Judging by how much water has been coming in his car, you can see from this, it's absolutely dripping, like. That's not good, is it? I'm hoping it's from this. I've just cleaned this up, give that a wipe down. I'm going to put some silicone sealant around that, push that back in. So you can see that now, that's all been sealed in there. Hopefully that is where it's leaking from. I've also done these as well, on the safe side. I think that's it, because like I said, there is nothing here for it to leak, and there's nothing in the centre, so I'm going for that first. We'll see how we get on with that. That's one side. I'm going to do exactly the same the other side as well. Now looking inside the car, the carpets are absolutely sodden. See that? Absolutely soaking. Look at that. That's not right. So there's a lot of water has been coming in. And the back is exactly the same. So I'm going to hoover as much as I can out. Right, I don't know whether it's been running from the front or the back. I think the boot is a separate thing, and I think the water's been running in from underneath the bulkhead and from the front scuttle panel. So I think that's why that is like that. So underneath here, there's drains. So the water runs down and into a drain and runs down out of the way, but sometimes they get blocked and stopped the water, and it just sits inside here and runs down inside. That's what I think has happened. So you've got these plastic 10 mils holding a scuttle on all the way, so hopefully it should come off then. Right. Prime example, let me just show you this. Well, you can see that it's full of water, so that means the water's sitting in there sloshing around, and you've got drains. I don't know if you can see that. You've got a drain there, so it's pretty obvious then the water is sitting in there and then going down into the footwell. See the water sitting in there. So what I'm going to use is something like this to try and get into that drain. Got him. Now if we look at that, that is blocked. The water sits inside. So that's why they get blocked. That's all cleaned up now, and it's not blocked, so that can go back in, and hopefully we'll have no more issues on that side. We've still got that side to do, because you've got one each side. That one's a little bit more awkward to get to because of the wiper arm, but hopefully we can get to it. Now you could possibly get to it from underneath. If you take out the airbox, you could probably push it through from underneath. I don't want to go for the hassle of removing this airbox if I can help it. So if I can reach down inside enough to grab it, I'll do me. Instead, I pushed a lot of it through, but this was blocked as well. That's nice and clean. I'm just going to put that back in, and hopefully, well, it'll be sorted from that now. that's the water that's just come out of there. Not the best. The carpet is dry in there, so I'm going to over that now and clean that up, because that's why I filled it up with carpet cleaner, so we can clean them carpets and put the boot one back in and the front one. Our mat is absolutely soaking. Like, oh, we'll give it a good clean. That's come up nice and clean. It's still a little bit damp, it's never going to be dry, so I'm going to chuck that back in. So we've cured the water coming inside. That come from the scuttle panel and the drains in the front of the engine bay. So I've overed the inside. It's all more or less dry, damp to touch. That will dry out. We've sealed around the rear lights, but this has gone. It's not quite dry, but it's enough now. I wanted to leave it set in before I put the lights back in, so we put them back in. I've overed out the back mat, so that's nice and dry. Hopefully this car should be cured. There's one more issue I need to have a look at, and that's a little rattle from the air intake. Straightforward, but I want to have a look to see if I can do something with that. But first we need to put these lights back in. Remember that light? God, I should send it back. At that, it's full of water. Look, it's not good, is it? It's obviously a common fault for these to fail. I just want to see if I can empty some of this water out of this light. At the end of the day, I can't replace the light again. At the end of the day, I replaced it because it had condensation in there. This is not my car anymore. So I'm good enough to do this. So the next issue is this noise. Hear that? Quite annoying when you start in the car. You just need something to hold that in place, because you normally got a clamp that clips onto that and holds it in place like that, but that's broken on this, which is quite standard. So I don't know what I'm going to do just to stop it from vibrating. So listen to that. It's really annoying. We'll have a look at that. So what I've done, I've just put a bit of tester tape, wrapped it right around there, so it's quite thick, so it should go through the hole and then lock into place to stop it from coming out and vibrating. It's in there now, that's tight, that's not going anywhere. I did notice quite low on water. Chuck a little bit of water in there, keep it topped up. I hope you enjoyed that quick video. This is just one of the things that happens to me on a regular. I end up doing something else rather than doing what I need to do in my own stuff. So thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll catch you all in the next one. I never really intended to record this video, but I thought, why not? Something's better than nothing at all. There's a video coming very soon on the Audi S1, and there's also a garage update coming soon as well. All that'll be coming over Christmas period, hopefully. So sit tight, and I'll get one out as soon as I can.